Hello everyone, LadyPhoenix here, and welcome back to some more Final Fantasy VII. In today's video, this is going to be completely post-commentated, and I will be doing the Chocobo breeding side quest from the ground down, from basic Chocobos to how to get a golden Chocobo, to essentially get anywhere in the game. So before we start to do any breeding, we are here at Chocobo Sage's house, and this is my first time talking to him, so we're going through this bit of dialogue here. So I'm here because I want to purchase the best greens that the game has to offer, which start with with an S, Silkis or something like that grades. I believe they're 5,000 gil per green. I think I ended up getting 99. Now that can get expensive very quickly, so I do recommend that you do have to sell at least one mastered all material, which you should have at least one completely mastered by this point in the game. I have 3 mastered already, and that's just on the side. That does not include the master material that's on my characters. So I get the Silkis greens, I get 99. You do not have to get that much for the side quest. I say about 50 should be more than enough to get you through the side quest, but the reason why I got 99 is because I'm actually going to use the golden chocobo off screen to help me with GP points for the battle arena. So now that I have the greens, I want to head to Goblin Island, or do I go to the chocobo thing first? No, I actually go to the Chocobo Farm first. So now that we have the high wind and Cloud is back in our party, we can actually start breeding our chocobos. And in order to do that, we need to start breeding. We need to rent out 6 stables. Each stable is, I believe, 10,000 gil a pop. So that's 60 gil right there that you already have to invest in order to get this side quest, get the ball rolling for this side quest. After that, you're going to need 3 carob nuts and 1 Zeo nut. You go to Goblin Island. For the Zeo nut, you can either steal it from them or it's a dropped item. And the carob nut is by a strange looking enemy that you could find in the grass area of Icicle Inn or in Bone Village. But don't worry, I'll show you how to do that. Right now I'm just fast forwarding through this because it's just like he's going through the exact same text over and over again for each stable. So it's just like, why is this designed like this? So after you spend the 60 grand, I do go talk to the sun because I do get some extra greens, the mimic greens to be exact, because I didn't want to use my good expensive greens. And I just buy a few mimic greens just to distract the chocobo long enough, because there are some instances where there are with enemies that actually can take a few hits, that can take quite a bit of level 3 spells to get rid of them quickly. And I want to be sure that the chocobo doesn't run away. So I just buy a few mimic greens, 10. I didn't realize I had 4, but 10 is more than enough, and I put it up at the top of my item list so that way I'm not searching through it. I'm not sure which nut we're gonna get first, but after you leave Chocobo Farm, and you can do this in any order, it doesn't matter what order you do for the prep, just long as you know you get it done. It's best to prep for it now. So we're gonna head to Goblin Island, which is right here where we got the enemy skill Goblin Punch. And this is Goblin Island. And like I said, you only need 1 Zeo nut. I had already gotten the nuts off screen, but I want to just show you on screen so I can just be as thorough as possible when showing you guys this side quest. So these are the goblins. Like I said, you can either steal from them or you can have it at the drop rate, but I think Cloud is going to just decimate these 2. Yeah. So also I do apologize for like the secondary echo here, and there's our Zeo nut right there, the secondary echo that you may or may not hear. This is my first time changing up my recording software or whatever the case may be. because I no longer use the Elgato to record anymore. I just strictly use OBS, so I didn't realize I had to turn off the desktop audio. So if you hear a faint background or something, that's what that is, and I apologize for that. But this is the enemy that we need in order to get the carob nut. Now, in this particular case, you actually have to steal the carob nut from this enemy, and this is the only enemy that carries it. He doesn't really hit hard, but he does take he has quite a bit of HP. So, you know, go in with your limit breaks, your hard hitting spells, whatever the case may be. As you can see, he survived Cloud's meteor rain, and he's gonna live through Vincent's freeze spell. So he does take quite a bit. But honestly, he doesn't hit hard, as you can see. But when you're going for your carob nuts, make sure you have at least 3 carob nuts. You're gonna need 3. And also, anytime before you do any breeding, like before you go into the Chocobo Farm and talk to, I believe Chocobo Bob is the kid's name, before you talk to him, always be sure to save, because of course when you're mating chocobos, genders play a role along with the different colored chocobos, and if you don't get the desired result that you want, you will have to restart your game, and you don't want to have to start from the drawing board or anything like that if you don't get the desired colored chocobo or gender. So just be sure to save before you do any mating. Now that we have the preparations done with the nuts and the greens, the first chocobo we're going to want to capture is a wonderful chocobo. And you can only capture this chocobo in the Icicle Inn area. So land the high wind on the green patches. It doesn't matter. I think it's another green patch over here to the left. The chocobo tracks are a little bit up northwards, and you want to find the chocobo that's considered a wonderful chocobo. Also make sure that you have the chocobo lore material on. The chocobo that you want to look for that's considered a wonderful is the chocobo that's paired with the jumping enemies only the jumping enemies. If you find a chocobo that's paired with the wolf, and I kept this battle in for this reason, if you see a chocobo paired with those, even with the jumping enemies, it's not a good chocobo. It's considered a fair or a poor one, and we don't want that. We want a wonderful one. Now, it took me a little bit to find this chocobo, by the right chocobo, I should say. It doesn't matter how many jumping enemies there are, as long as the chocobo is just with the jumping enemies by itself, then you're good. So I have to make quick work with them. It's a good thing Tifa and Vincent doesn't have any all materia paired with these spells, which also, by the way, I still have those ruin armlets on, so they're getting double AP points and everything, so it's all good. So caught this chocobo. Now the next 2 chocobos that we have to catch, we want to catch 2 great ones. By the way, you're automatically on the chocobo. Just hit circle and have it go to the stables, and it'll go into the oblivion and go to the stables. So we have to head back to the high wind and get 2 great chocobos. Now, these 2 great chocobos we're going to get are from the Medill area. And I actually confused the Temple of the Ancients with the Medill area. I was looking for a second like, that's not right. And then I realized, oh crap, I'm in the wrong area. See, this right here is the Temple of the Ancients. And I was just like, something's not right. It's square. It should be round. But there is we have to get 2 great chocobos, and those 2 great chocobos are the first set of chocobos that we're going to be breeding. So land your high wind here and go on your tracks right here. There's 2 types of chocobos that's paired with the enemies. I think this is the wrong type. Okay, if you see a chocobo paired with this particular enemy, that's not the great chocobo that we're looking for. Just don't catch it. It's a waste of your time. I don't know if it's classified as a good chocobo or a fair chocobo, but what I'm looking for is great, because greats are easier to race. They create better stats and the best chances of getting the blue-green chocobo that we need. So I always just go for 2 greats. And the greats are paired with like these centipede looking enemies, which I will show in just as this cut transition through. Those are the enemies right there. You see a chocobo paired with those enemies right there, you're good. Paired with those enemies only. It's like I said, if it's paired with the green one, it's no good. Now that we got the chocobo distracted, we gotta hurry up and kill the enemies. Good Quake 3, Bio 3, and Freeze. That's what I've been using to make quick work of these enemies. Like I said, we're pretty up there in the game. So these enemies can take a bit of a beating a little bit. As that one just did. And I had Vincent throw another Mimic Green because I wasn't sure if it was going to live. Well, the enemy, I should say. Even with the poison, so. Like I said, just catch 2 of those and you will be good to go. Send back to the stables. And we're good to go. Now, at this point, you want to, after you get your 3 chocobos, your wonderful chocobo and your 2 great chocobos, go back to the farm and save. Absolutely save. Because you need these chocobo, you need the wonderful chocobo, the gender for the wonderful chocobo is fine. It's the genders for the 2 great chocobos. You need them to be opposite genders. And if they're the same genders, then obviously you can't breed them. So you'll have to reset the game. So save. Saving is important. I went ahead and just put it in the save 3 block for this entire side quest. So wonderful chocobo, we have a female. So the chocobo that we're going to pair with it later, which is going to be a black chocobo, it has to be a male. Because our wonderful chocobo is a female. So we're just going to name her Luna. And she's in the stable. And I think I actually go back out and save it real quick. That way I didn't have to go through the text of naming the chocobo and all this other stuff. You can name the chocobo whatever you want to. It's not hard to keep up with what chocobo is what. Heck, there's only 6 of them that you're going to have at a time. So it's not a big deal. But I like to name them after Final Fantasy characters from the other series. As most of you know, Luna is Luna Freya from Final Fantasy 15. Love that game. So this is our great chocobo. This is one of them. We're going to put it in. And this is a female, which is fine. I think I named her Rosa, if I'm not mistaken, from Final Fantasy 4. Which I'm actually thinking about bringing having that Final Fantasy as the next Final Fantasy that I want to bring to the channel. Anyway, so we got to also put in the next chocobo. I think this chocobo is also a female because I see a cut in the playback footage. So I believe this one is going to be a female and I had to reset it. Yeah, I had to reset it for a male. So this one is going to be a male, and I ended up naming this one Cecil or Cecil, however you pronounce it. I don't know the official pronunciation. Cecil, but that's Rosa's love interest from Final Fantasy 4. Now we are ready to feed them first, because we have to give them some stats, because now we have to race them. So Luna we're going to leave alone for now. We're not going to deal with Luna, not right now at least. I do believe I give them 10 of the Silkest Greens each. That may be overkill, but that's fine. I think I only get them up to rank A. And you don't even have to get those chocobos up to that high up. I just did it for the GP points. And I kind of zoned out because I was listening to music. But I think if you win 3 races each with each of the chocobos, you're good. They'll be ready to breed. And you're doing this for the stats. So now we're here at the chocobo races back at the Gold Saucer. And this is the first time I've talked to Esther since the events of Coral Prison. So this text is just gonna show up, and she's gonna say which one you want to register. I gotta race both Rosa and Cecil. Like I said, I think I get them up to rank A, but you don't have to do that. I think if you race them up to if you win 3 races with each chocobo, you should be fine. And with the greens, the silkiest greens give off the best stats, and this is not me speeding up, this is just normal speed. And this is just a regular great chocobo, and with those greens it definitely helped their performance out. So I'm just showing you guys how the race is or whatever. This is automatic. I'm not controlling this in any type of way, because honestly Class C is so easy. That's the reason why I just decided to race for as many points as I can. And I think I do end up scoring a hero drink. So I'm about to cut and race both of the chocobos. And now we're back at the farm. And of course I went ahead and saved right before the mating thing. In this particular case, it doesn't matter. Oh, I got them up to Class B. Okay. So 3 races each. It doesn't matter. When it asks for which nut, you can click on carob nut. The minimum is 3 carob nuts and 1 zayo nut, if I haven't mentioned that. Blue, for this particular case, blue or green, it doesn't matter. And I get a green chocobo, and I believe this is a female. No, it's a male. I'm sorry. I don't remember. What did I name this one? Laguna? Yes, I named it Laguna. Okay. After my favorite Final Fantasy character of all time. Now, we have to rate. I had to, so I have to reset the Chocobo Maiden cycle. And in order to do that, you have to at least fight and win in 10 successful battles. So, because they just bred. So, the kid is going to be like, you shouldn't do that so soon after they just got done mating, or either they're too young. So, the standard minimum is 10 victory battles. So, I did that off screen, and I came back and immediately mated them. So I believe I named her Rain, of course, after Laguna's late wife in Final Fantasy VIII. So this is what you want. You want 1 blue chocobo, 1 green chocobo of opposite genders. So now that we've done that, we have to race both these chocobos. They're a little bit faster than our great chocobos. So we're going to talk to Chocobo Billy. Feed them some greens. I think I give them either 15 or 20 each, which may have been overkill, but I think with these 2, I think I actually get one of them to rank S and one of them to Class A. I don't think you have to get them up there that high, but like I said, I just did it for the GP points. And look how Laguna, his stamina is so much better and his speed is so much better. And this is just Class C. Of course, it's going to get a little bit harder later on, but that's how fast Laguna is without the speed up feature. Now, after I race Laguna and Rain, you have to remember Rain is a newly born chocobo. So you have to fight at least 10 battles before mating again. So there's going to be another cut, and I'll meet you guys back at the Chocobo Farm. So remember, if you haven't already, when you have to do at least 10 battles to start to reset the Chocobo mating process, and be sure to save, because your black chocobo has to be the opposite gender of your wonderful chocobo. In my case, my wonderful chocobo is a female. So not only do I have to get a black chocobo, but it has to be a black male chocobo. And I got Laguna up to Class Class S, and Rain up to Class A. Like I said, I think I scored a few hero drinks, and I was doing it for the points. You don't have to raise them up that high, but I think you have to give them at least to A. And that's my black chocobo. It is a male. So we are good to go. And I believe I named this one, Noct, I believe, after Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. His love interest was Luna. So it makes sense. Not Squall. Sorry, Squall. So now that we have our black chocobo, we now have to raise our wonderful chocobo and our black chocobo, because those are the two chocobos that's going to create our gold chocobo. So Luna's going to get, I think, anywhere between 15 to 20. I give him the same. What? I gave Luna 10? Oh, you know what? Because I didn't want to invest too much into her. Because even though she's a wonderful chocobo, and she's faster than the other basic yellow chocobos, I didn't want to invest in too many greens with her. For my black chocobo, however, I think I give Noct 15, I think. Either 10 or 15. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, 15. So I'm going to make another cut and meet you guys back at the Gold Saucer at the chocobo races. And I'm going to show off how fast Noct is. Again, this is just real time. He's just leaving them in the dust. Also, you may have noticed that that's Tifa. Sometimes Tifa will pop out of Cloud's body and say, "Hey Cloud, I want to ride." And you can totally do that. It makes no difference. It's just a different character on the chocobo. But to my knowledge, there's no difference in chance or anything like that. It's just Tifa want to ride on the chocobo. And that's your black chocobo right there. So, like I said, I had to do at least 10, win 10 battles, which in this case, in order to start the maiden cycle for this black chocobo, I think I did closer on the 20 side. It's anywhere between 10 to 30. So I got Noct at Class A, and I got Luna at Class A. Once again, you do not have to get them at S rank. This case, you want to click on the Zayo nut. And if you've done everything correctly, also making sure to save before mating, that is your gold chocobo. Now, it may not look like it on the PS4 version, because I'm not going to lie, I had to stare at that chocobo for a while, and I'm be like, are you sure it's gold? But once you name your chocobo to whatever you want to click out the menu, you can definitely tell the difference between this chocobo and the basic yellow chocobos. But believe me, it's definitely a golden chocobo. If you can see the difference right over there. So I decided to take him out for a ride, and who knew that Noctis and Luna is Ignis' parents. And that right there is our golden chocobo. Ignis can go anywhere. We can even take him in the high wind. So that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, just let me know. But until then, I will show you guys where to get the materia caves in the next video. So that's it. That's how you get a gold chocobo. So if you'd like to see more Let's Plays or weekend walkthroughs from the channel, please be sure to click on the links in the description below. But until then, you guys take care and have an awesome day.